Okay, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of rundown here on how you might go about getting a quote server computer unquote for your Dropzone to run the Vidiot program. So I'm just on the Dell website here, and I'm in Canada, so it's taking me to the Canadian website. So once you get there, you just want to find like servers and storage here if you're looking for an actual server. And again, they're mainly just more durable, which makes them more expensive. So I'm just going to click on servers, see what I got here. You don't want a rack server, you don't want a modular infrastructure, you just want a tower server. It just looks like a regular desktop computer. So we'll just shop here. And I've been using a T340, which you can see right here. And I see they have a T350. I'm assuming that's just maybe like the newer model. But let's just go into the T340 for now. All right, and all you need is like one socket. You need one processor. That's fine. And we go down here and we have a look. Let's just see. We've got, let's have a look at this one right here. Looks like it's big sale right now. And what do we have here? So just in and customize and buy. So as far as settings are concerned, you basically just go with the default settings. I'll just tell you a little bit about some of the settings so you kind of understand what they are in case this is really new to you. So everything here is standard. The chassis says 3.5-inch chassis up to 4 hot plug drives. So 3.5 inches, the size of a regular hard drive, and solid state drives are 2.5 inch. So if you're gonna put like an aftermarket solid state drive in your server, you're gonna need to buy like an aftermarket sort of like a drive bay, which converts the drive bay from a 3.5 inch to a 2.5 inch, and you can find link to some of those, I think, on this page at the bottom. And the hot plug hard drives means that this just means that there's 4 spaces for hard drives. The server that I'm running has 8. Will you need more than 4? Well, you could probably get away with just actually using 2, but the only reason you'd want to go with 8 is if you wanted to put like, I don't know, let's say 5 or 6 1 terabyte solid state drives in there and run a RAID array. So if you understand that stuff or want to venture into that territory, then you might want to go with 8. Otherwise, I think you could probably get by with 4. But if you have more questions about that, you can send me a message or give me a call. With the processor here, the options we have right here. So I would just opt for probably like a 12 meg cache, and I would be looking for as much sort of processing speed as I can get for like a reasonable price. Like here you're going to add an extra $354 Canadian to go to 4 gigabyte or gigahertz processor. But I think that here's the standard to what you're getting: 8 meg cache. If you could get something similar, let's see, 3.6 at a 12 meg cache for an extra $66, I would definitely go with that. And that's what I'm going to do. Down here in the memory, this is going to be important too. Looks like they're giving us 2 16 gigabyte RAM sticks. So that's going to be 32 gigs. I would definitely go with 32 gigs nowadays. Just to kind of give you some longevity, I suppose. You're going to leave the RAID just as normal. Don't worry about that. No RAID. All good there. Now, as far as the hard drive is concerned, so basically the 3 or 4 things that you really want to think about when you're putting together some sort of a server is the processing speed, the amount of RAM, and the storage space. Because storage space is going to be, or the hard drive per se, is going to be important for storing videos. And we also want to make sure the data is getting written quickly too. So in this particular scenario, and I don't know why I don't have any more options right now, but they're only offering me 7.2K RPM. So that's 7,200 RPM. And a SATA drive is fine. That's what you want. Mixed use is fine as well. That just means it's optimized for both reading information and writing information. But there might be other instances where maybe you want just a solid state drive and a smaller one, like maybe 480 gigabytes, just to run your operating system off of, so it's a little bit faster. And then you would put like some other storage in there um, to be able to store all of your customer media on. And as I said, the main difference between an actual server and a desktop computer is durability. And that's why these prices are insane, because servers are meant to run 24/7. And, they're giving me a 3-year warranty with this as well. So um, that's why this stuff is more expensive. But you might want to just go with a 480 gigabyte hard drive, a solid state drive, and then buy like one 4 terabyte sort of desktop grade solid state drive to put in your server. Again, it's not going to have the dependability, but what you could do is, if you were really concerned about dependability, then you could just swap out that 4 terabyte hard drive every year or two, or sorry, solid state drive every year or two, just to make sure you weren't going to run into a day where possibly it corrupted for some reason. I've never had a hard drive corrupt on me like that, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. And then everything else in here, you're not going to get an operating system usually with a server. You can install anything you want on it. Often servers run a Linux-based program, and I think there's some documentation on something called a Ubuntu Mate on this website, if you want to have a look at that. And I think that's about it. This is going to be something that you're going to be very interested in too with a server, which is iDRAC, which basically stands for Integrated Dell Remote Access Controller. And it's going to give you it's going to allow you to power on and power off the machine remotely. You can do that with a desktop too, by setting up something called Wake on LAN, I believe. But I found the iDRAC was pretty good. It also gives you a lot of information about your server's health and whatnot. So it's definitely an added benefit to getting a Dell server over a Dell desktop. Okay, so there's not too much else in here you need to worry about. A lot of it's just like sort of upsells and stuff like that at the bottom. But as I said, there's basically 3 things here. It's processing speed, it's RAM, and it's what sort of drive you're going to have, whether or not that's a solid state drive or a hard drive, an actual spinning disk in your server. So that's the server. Now, if you wanted to go with the desktop computer, and this would be fine too. Again, really, it just kind of comes down to durability and a few other options, like the iDRAC option, which I showed you down here, which is not available with a desktop computer. But you can certainly get a lot more power in a desktop computer, and it'd likely run at your Dropzone and be fine. And we're generally not leaving these servers on for, at least I'm not in my applications, 24/7, 365. It generally runs like Friday through Monday, and often I'll turn it off at night if it's not being used. And obviously it doesn't run all winter long here in Canada too. So, I think you could probably get by with a desktop computer, which is why I'm going to show you one here. So let's just look at desktops and all-in-ones. And I really like the XPS desktops because they're just really good for video, and they're generally pretty powerful. And you could even use this station as an editing station too. So we'll just have a look at this. And when we look at XPS desktop computers, I think what we're looking for is, I'm just going to put in a few settings here. So as I said, the RAM, 32 gigs or more. Processors here, looks like it's only showing as i7, but there is some i9s in here. So I'm just going to switch this to highest price and see what I can find here. Maybe I'll turn that off as well, that 32 gigabytes, and I'll just go back to highest price, and we'll just look at what we've got here. So I would be looking for in a desktop like this, an XPS, I would be looking for 64 gigabytes of RAM, which is lots of RAM. And I think actually this was one that I thought was good here. Let's just, yeah. Um, so you don't really need. So an i9 processor is sort of the latest and greatest, fastest processor. So this might be something you'd be interested for sure. An i7 would probably run it too, but I personally would go with an i9 if I was going to set up a server like this. You don't need Windows 10 Pro. Windows 10 Home would be fine as well. So here's the video card. So like a 12 gig or an 8 gigabyte video card would probably be good. And this is going to be really important if you're using it as an editing machine too. Here we have 64 gigabytes of RAM. So it's going to be, it looks like 4 16 gigabyte cards. And I would definitely go with 64 gigabytes of RAM in this scenario. And then our storage space, or our hard drive space here. So we've got a 1 terabyte solid state drive that the computer is going to boot and run from. That's how it's going to ship. And that's what you want because it's going to be faster. And then you have an additional 2 terabyte SATA drive here at 7200 RPM, which is going to be faster as well, which is great as well. So you've got 4 terabytes of storage space, that's what I'm running on my server right now. So you could use the solid state drive as the location to have all of your tandem media, transferred to. And then once you had it all uploaded to the cloud, you could move it over to the 2 terabyte SATA drive as storage. And then also, as I mentioned in here, you're going to want to have a third location to put your media because you never know. And I would again buy like a 4 terabyte or maybe a 5 terabyte portable hard drive, and it doesn't have to be a fast one. It's just for backing up your data on. And I just really make sure I had one of those too. So anyway, I hope that helps a little bit. I don't want to make this too long. And if you have any questions or need some help trying to figure out what kind of a server, quote unquote, you should put into your Dropzone, then you can send me a message or give me a call and let me know what your application is, just like your airplanes and how things function and what computers you currently have, and I'd be happy to give you a recommendation. That's it. See ya.